What's up, guys? Today, of course, I'm going to be discussing weapon variants in Battlefield 1 and how they affect your weapon's behavior, how they probably will affect your style, and the best ones to choose based on your style once we discuss them. And of course, I'll discuss my personal favorites at the end. The idea for this came off a Reddit post I saw recently, which I thought was actually well written, so I'll include it in the description if you actually want to have a look at that as well. So let's start. First off, the first variant is factory or low weight, which, as it suggests, it's as if you went to the factory and bought the weapon. There's nothing added to it. It does have a perk that's beneficial for you in that it faster recoil reset when you stop shooting. The problem is, of course, though, is that this, I think it's pretty decent for a rookie starting out. Like, say you're taking pot shots down the stretch and you want something that's going to minimize your recoil in between shots. This would be the right one to choose. But it's not one I'd spend my war bonds later on as I got further into my class ranks and got more war bonds, because you want something that's going to affect your recoil as it's happening for the positive, as opposed to stopping to shoot. If you have to stop shooting, you're not really affecting the weapon all that much because it would reset anyway. So it's not really the choice I would make. Factory's not my first choice. I would not spend my war bonds on it. You can use it, of course, because it's probably going to be one that starts when you start the game, but that's about it. The next one is Storm or Sweeper. It's probably the more versatile variants, one of the more versatile variants in the game, and I'd recommend it to anyone who's, say, unlocked class rank 1 or 2 and is looking to spend war bonds to get a new weapon. This Storm Sweeper variant offers lower vertical and horizontal recoil, so basically if you can actually hit the target, you will hit the target. The weapon will not deviate in between shots, so that's the positive to it. The Mondragon Storm, I believe, you can get this at class rank 1 or 2 for medic, so you can get it pretty early, and it's my favorite of the Sweeper or Storm variants. Of note for shotguns, though, it's a little bit different. The Sweeper variant offers higher damage in short range at the expense of decreased range, but that's only for shotguns. Next up is Optical. Using this weapon variant gives you lower initial spread and lower spread increase while aiming. So it's sort of selective. It's not, because for most of the medic class weapons that have optical, most of them don't have to worry about spread increase on those weapons because they're so accurate as is, and most of the time their fire rate's low enough that you're not going to see significant spread anyway. But it's pretty good for the assault class's MP18. Especially because you get a red dot-like sight for it as opposed to the iron sights, which is, I can't stand most of the iron sights in this game, so it's helpful there. So that's probably its biggest benefit. Like, lower spread increase and initial lower spread is, of course, a good thing, but the sights are probably the best bet on weapons that have the optical on it. Because, again, like I said, most of the medic weapons that have the optical, it's great to have the sight, but most of the spread increases aren't going to be significant because you won't be spraying with the weapon anyway. Next, Trench. This one offers lower hipfire spread increase. So you'll want to use hipfire spread on a weapon that is not only in close quarter situations, but one that has a fast fire rate. What comes to mind here? The Automatico M1918 for assault. That weapon has such a fast fire rate, it's nearly impossible to aim accurately down the sights anyway, so you might as well buff hip fire and get into close range situations. And this thing is a monster in close range situations, especially hip firing. You don't really need to do anything except hip fire. It's wonderful. The next is Experimental, which is, I think, very selective for very few weapons, and it basically means that the weapon is modified a bit. Like, say, for example, I know the MP18 has an experimental version, and it basically allows you to fire, and I believe it's 3-round bursts. It doesn't actually do anything to really change the weapon up, other than just that it fires in a different burst pattern. That's about it. The next two are going to apply to shotguns. One is called Backboarded. It offers reduced range for reduced recoil. Damage drop-off begins sooner. All shotguns are good in short range in this game, so personally I wouldn't choose Backboarded only because I'd prefer a shotgun variant that's either buffed hip fire accuracy or buffed range. which leads directly into this, the Hunter variant, another one for shotguns. It offers improved range and accuracy by adding a choke to the weapon. So this is the variant I tend to choose for my shotguns. It means that spread will be more defined though, so if you're going into like a close quarters situation where two guys are right next to each other, because of the choke, you're not going to be killing both of them. You'll probably have to shoot 2 different shots to kill both of them sitting next to each other, so bear that in mind. The next one is Suppressive, exclusive to the support LMGs. The weapon has a sort of a standard bullet pattern with no extreme deviations, but you have a bipod that you can equip and use, and a non-iron sight, so it's sort of like a red dot or cross sight, which is nice. Though I never use bipods for snipers, use one for support. Doing so gives you a much lower spread and overall spread increase when, especially in the difference between hand holding the weapon. You can attach it to buildings as well. You don't need to be prone, so make sure that in this case Suppressive is not too bad. But I wouldn't choose Suppressive only because you can get bipods in the next few, which I'll get to in a second. The next and last variant version is Marksman, Sniper, or Telescopic, which offers extremely low spread. This is the one you want if you're higher up in your class ranks. You get a sniper-like sight on most of these LMGs as well as obviously a sight you'll get for sniper rifles where you'll see this most. I like pairing the Telescopic or Sniper variant with the Bar 1918 and the Mondragon Sniper variant. The only drawback to this is of course with the sight, because it takes longer to scope in. You can't really use this in short or short-medium range without either resorting to hipfire or zoom and pray. So you'll want to stay in medium range and away from the front lines when using this variant. So now that you know this information, and again feel free to completely disagree with it even though I think I did a pretty good job with it, what would you choose for each class? I'll give you mine. For Assault, it's a class that emphasizes short and maybe closer medium range combat if you have the right weapon and the right variant. Anywhere between say 20 meters is about the target range, but of course if you're more skilled you can probably add to this range, but that's about where the target range would be. For the weapons, I would choose the Automatical M1918 Trench for the hipfire accuracy, and the Model 10A Hunter Shotgun. Both are of course horrendous beyond short range, and the Automatical has to be used about 10 feet or 10 meters or so back from against shotguns, or the shotgun wins, but they're both extremely good in close range. The Automatico is a hipfire machine with this variant. Inside of 10 meters, you're just going to shred people. And if you want a medium range option for Assault, I'd choose the MP18 Optical. But of course, Assault is much better suited for close range, so just try and adjust your skill set to that closer range and you'll see much better results. Next, Medic. It's mostly a medium range class weapon with some variants to be used at longer range, such as the Mondragon Sniper or the Cell Blaster Marksman. I hope I pronounced that right, even though I think I got it wrong. For Medic, you're probably going to want to use them between 30 to 75 meters for best success, but of course if you're a crack shot, and especially if you're using the Sniper variant on the Mondragon, for example, you can absolutely hit further than 75 meters. It's just, that's probably recommended range. I really like, as I've already hinted at a couple times in the video, the Mondragon Sniper and Storm variants because of the extreme medium to long range accuracy they give you. I also recently bought the Seblaster Marksman, and it's quite amazing as well. If you want a faster fire rate weapon, as opposed to, because those two are slower variant weapons, go with the auto-loading 8.25 extended. But instead of the 3 shots to kill as the above 2 weapons need, you'll need 5 for this one unless you land a couple headshots. So bear that in mind, you will need more shots to kill with the auto-loading version. Support is by far my least used class because of the horrendous second shot accuracy and the fact that you have to hold down the trigger for like a good 5 to 10 seconds to actually get any accuracy on the weapons. But they are more short to medium range specialists. But be careful in short range because, like I said, the Assault class is king there, so you will get annihilated. It's, I'd say, 25 meter specialty. It's more suited for sort of laying down suppressive fire for people that want to traverse the map and help your team. I really like the Bar 1918 telescopic. It's actually one of the very few support weapons I've found regular success with at this point. It's a super low magazine size of 20 compared to most of the others, and a very fast fire rate, so you will burn through your magazine quick. And if you miss shots because of the the small magazine, it's punishing to you. You'll probably end up killed. Make sure you use the bipod to negate spread increase, and you'll find incredibly good results with this weapon though. If I had to suggest another LMG, I'd probably choose the Madsen Storm, but I've literally been hit and miss with it, so I'm on the fence about that one. Lastly, the Scout class, my personal favorite class, as I'm sure many of you know. Skilled players can use this, of course, from melee range up to 200 plus meters, but I think best success, especially if you're starting out, will come between 50 and 200 meters. I really like the Gewehr 98 Marksman or Sniper variant. It's probably my favorite weapon in the game. You can use both of these for hybrid or no set range sniping. If you want 100 plus meter sniping, the M1903 would probably be your best bet with the bipod, the sniper variant. If you want more aggressive sniping, choose the Gewehr M95 Marksman, so that you have the melee to 50 meter option area covered, or the SMLE MK3 Marksman. And again, it's all subjective when it comes to weapons, but if you feel you agree or disagree, let me know. But those are the variants that tend to work best for me now, but of course I'll update as I go, as I experiment with more weapons, because as you've seen, several of them have been locked, but the thing is I tried all of the weapons in the beta, and I specifically know which weapons I will and won't use. Like, some of them are probably going to remain locked for as long as I have the war bonds, like the iron sights on the sniper rifles. So I've tried just about all the weapons out at least a bit, so I feel I can get to that point where I'm comfortable talking about it. If you liked the video, leave a like, subscribe if you want to see more of these types of videos, and share it to social media if you feel like helping out a buddy. See you later, guys.